filmed like 6 videos today. I am parched. Hi everyone, this is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a rapid June wrap up. I took a break from YouTube and got a little behind, so instead of going as in-depth as I normally do in my wrap-ups, I'm just going to do quick, this is what I read, this is what I thought, and just give you my general thoughts. So let's just jump in. So in June I read a total of 25 books. It was a very good reading month. So the first book I read is These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. This is the first book in the Witches Don't Burn, I think it's a duology. And this was a reread for me, just wanted to read something witchy, and I'm still not a huge fan. It just didn't really vibe with me. 2 stars. Next I read Marshmallow Malice by Amanda Flower. This was an ARC, and this is the 5th book in the Amish Candy Shop Mystery Series, which I absolutely adore. We continue to follow the story of Bailey and Jethro, the comfort animal, and we have murder and mystery along the way. So I gave that one 4 stars. Next I read Spell on Wheels, and this was a graphic novel. Again, I just wanted something witchy. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good storyline in such a small book, but I highly recommend it, and the artwork is beautiful. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. This is an incredibly impactful, inspirational graphic novel. I'm just in awe of George Takei's story and how he used what happened to him in the Japanese concentration camps and rose up and is now doing such good things in the world. He's such an inspirational person, and I feel like this graphic novel was so well done, and it covered a lot of heavy topics, and it conveyed it really well through the artwork and through the speech and dialogue. So highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. Next I read Woke, A Young Poet's Call to Injustice by Mahogany Brown, Theodore Taylor, Elizabeth Acevedo, and Jason Reynolds. And this was a graphic novel, and it just was wonderful. I love Elizabeth Acevedo and Jason Reynolds, and Mahogany Brown and Theodore Taylor combined with those 2 authors. They just did a phenomenal job. And I think it's great for younger readers as a very inspirational and hopeful book. So I gave that one 5 out of 5. Number 6, A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. This was such a cool book. It's by an author of color, features characters of color and how they're different and dealing with the world around them. And she just did such a phenomenal job with that, and I loved it, and I cannot wait to read more of her work. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. 7, You Had Me At Ola by Alexis Daria. This was an ARC that I got through NetGalley, and I adored this book. It's a romance novel based on the telenovela. It was such a fun ride, and I was so invested, and I just can't wait to read more of this author because I would totally reread this book. It was just so much fun. Next I read Troublemaker by Leah Remini. I listened to that on audio. It's her autobiography and talks about her journey of leaving the Church of Scientology. which is something that just fascinates me. But I really liked the way she wrote it. It was very conversational, and I listened to it basically in one sitting. It's 256 pages, so it's very short. She narrated the audiobook, so I highly recommend that format because I just love the way she talks. It's very New York, and I loved it. Next, I read Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno, and I listened to this on audio, and I just fell in love with this book. I loved the culture in it, and I love the storyline, and there's a reason why so many people are recommending this book. And I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Number 10, Arusha and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. This is the first book in the Pandava series. This is a middle grade book. Roshni Chokshi is one of my favorite authors. And even though this is a middle grade book, the writing is still just so much fun and really pretty, but appropriate for middle grade readers. I love the characters in this book. They're so much fun, and they're flawed, and they're wonderful, and please go read it. 5 out of 5 stars. Number 11, Felix Ever After by Kasen Calendar. And I listened to this on audio. Kasen Calendar is a non-binary author, and they did such a phenomenal job with this book. Felix is a transgender character, and I loved reading this and reading his story and seeing how he interacts with people around him and how he deals with the just hateful comments of and uneducated comments of other people. And this book was just very deep and heartfelt and touching, but it also had its funny moments, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Number 12, Mystery of the Ivory Charm by Carolyn Keene. That's number 13 in the Nancy Drew series. 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This was a reread for me. Anna Karenina is one of my all-time favorite books. And again, it's just such a beautiful story about family and love and taking control of your life. And it touches on mental illness in that time period. And it's just such a wonderfully well-written book. And it's very easy to get into, in my opinion, even though it is a tome. It's like 900 pages. But it's just so worth it. And I just really enjoyed my time rereading it. So 5 out of 5 stars. 14, The Whispering Statue by Carolyn Keene. This was number 14 in the Nancy Drew series, 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. I buddy read this with Carrie from Carrie Louise Reads. This was such a sweet middle grade book, and I loved the journey the characters took, and it was very touching and heartfelt and such a good read. So I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. I listened to it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed this. It was a hard read because while I was reading it, I was thinking about my life and my interactions and the way I speak, what microaggressions I've used before without realizing or thinking about that they are microaggressions. So I feel like it's a very good read, but it's a hard read. But it's so educational and so important, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Haunted Bridge, The Clue of the Tapping Heels, and The Mystery of the Brass-Bound Trunk, number 15, 16, and 17 of Nancy Drew, and I gave all of those 3 stars. Number 20, When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. Sandhya Menon's one of my favorite authors, and I've read this book a couple times, and I love that the main character, Dimple, loves computers and coding, and she wants to be modern. She doesn't want to be in her parents' outdated culture from her point of view. And it's just so much fun and it's hilarious, and I love the characters. They're so relatable. So I gave that one 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read White Rage by Dr. Carol Anderson. And again, this is one of those books that's so vitally important and such a hard read because you have to look in. It's very introspective while you're reading it. So again, just looking at your thoughts and how you interact with people and thinking about what you say or how you say it and how to be an active anti-racist and the history of white rage. And it was very, very interesting. And I learned a lot, and I definitely want to reread it because I feel like the more I read it and, the more I learn and the more I can grow as a person. So I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Mystery of the Moss-Covered Mansion, number 18 in the Nancy Drew series, 3 stars. Number 23, Arusha and the Song of Death by Roshni Chokshi. This is the second book in the Pandava series. And again, wonderful writing, funny characters, funny story, and such a fun ride. 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi. And this is a historical fiction novel. I listened to it mostly on audio. And it's so rich and heartbreaking but hopeful and so well written and wonderfully paced. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Finally, I read The Quest of the Missing Map by Caroline Keene, number 19 in the Nancy Drew series, and I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars. So in June, I read a total of 7,013 pages, and again, a total of 25 books, and I am very happy with that. So as always, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.